All right, so we are here in the seventh and final round of today. A brilliantly run tournament by TAC Games again. It looks like Enel is going to be going first up against Purple Luffy. Now, just to give you a breakdown of this matchup, we haven't really seen it much today. Typically, a Purple Luffy will be favored. They're able to ramp up into some big threats that the Sakazuki player typically has trouble dealing with. We're going to see a 5k swing going into leader now. This is probably something you defend, and there's a 2k out, which is fine. They typically run 12 2ks and then the 4 Gatlings, so 16 pseudo 2ks, if you will. And there's the Pero Sparrow. Brilliant card into the Purple Luffy matchup. Absolutely brilliant. Now, last game, what a first trigger. Force Purple Luffy onto the back foot, discarding a Pero. I don't know about discarding the Pero Sparrow there. I think that could have been a really good play next turn, just because of the value that 3 cost 5k brings. Nevertheless, unless he's got a third one, I just can't see it. Now, the play there, you'll have to forgive me, his stream is just bugging out a little bit. This will be... I actually can't tell. He was second. Is that a queen? I think that might be a queen. Sorry, guys. Stream just a little bit, or the camera just a little bit hard to pick up at this point in time. But it looks like it's going to be a Don Neg 1, draw 2, discard 1. There we go. Okay, sharpening up a bit now. That was indeed a queen. That will push him back to 4 Don, but he could ramp and go up into the 7 cost Paulie next turn, setting up a 10 Don turn. So I think that's what the players are just talking about, that it did just get a bit blurry, but as far as I'm concerned, it seems fine by me. I think we have a judge in here permanently as well, being table 1. It seems like just a minor tech issue, but all the hand was in play the whole time, so I can't see any dramas with that one. Looks like they're just doing a quality check on the stream. Judge is just checking on a couple of things. We'll find out shortly. They've got the head judge Stuart down as well, probably just having a listen as well. Looks like they do need to make a ruling on this. Might just listen in. Alright, so having a listen there, I'm not sure if that came through. It was, they were just clarifying the connection if there was any issues with that. It does get a bit pixelated, but to me, I think it's fine. You can still make out the cards there. There, I couldn't make out what that was, and I think that's what they're just clarifying now. That looks like the Sphinx, actually. I can tell what that is. But yeah, it just looks to be... It'd be unfortunate for this to end on a connection issue for our finals here. Enel with a brilliant setup here. Queen's going to be able to get a free block out of this, no doubt, as well. See, discarding... It obviously depends on the hand there, but discarding that Paris Sparrow didn't seem like the right play. It seemed like, particularly into Katakuri... sorry, not Katakuri, into Pluffy would have been a perfect counter. We have a 2k Drake combo out there. We've got 7k crashing in. They'll probably take that life or block and 2k out. The issue with blocking and 2k'ing out, and that's what we're going to see, block 2k, is he has to then invest the 2 Don into the Sanji to threaten life or threaten the Queen again. So let's see how this goes. And we're going to see the 7. We're probably going to see it go into... It's hard, isn't it? Like, you're probably going to see it go into the Queen, but man, it is tempting to go into life. And there's the 2k out, so it did go into the Queen there. Just 1 Don short. And I think a Pero just would have been so much better to set up here. Pluffy will now go to 6 Don with an activation, could be at 7. And then we could see Paulie into KOing the Sanji, keep the Queen up, and 5 into the Perospero. Or 6 rather, depending on if they want to keep the Don active or not. So let's see how they sequence this one. So it's 5 somewhere. We're getting a leader activation. Hopefully we see that Paulie. Picking up 7. I don't know if they run the 7 cost Kid. That is a Paulie. So Paulie's going to get an active Don. The Sanji's going to hit the bin. You could send Queen into the red zone here, knowing that next turn Enel is going to be at, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 Don. So probably going to play either the Rush or something else. I don't know. I'm a fan of sending Queen into the red zone here. And there's the active Don on it. Yep, so 7. I like that play. 7 into the Sparrow, surely. KO it, and let's see if we get a hit off of it. It is the most likely to whiff in the deck, but no, not whiffing here. We get the 8 cost Katakuri. Can't come down next turn, but that'll be 2 turns time. We'll probably see something like that. Something to note, the Enel player has, even with the double Sparrow, we're seeing an incredibly small hand from them at this point in time. Pluffy able to get down the purple Queen and then following up with the Paulie. Seems like they've got more control at this point in time. There's a 7 cost down, and there's the Olin. Surely critting a life here. Yep, crit. Easy crit there. Easy choice for them. They just want to keep that Enel player as low as they can. Now, the only trouble is the Kaido is now an incredibly awkward play to make. But if you can double blocker here, I think, and judging by the fact we're seeing a 6k swing, I think that's what we're probably going to see here. Hope for the Thunderbolt trigger, but nothing, no Thunderbolt there. Queen is probably going to be the next one to swing. Let's find out. So that was the 1k combo. I think they're just clarifying because of the quality of this stream, unfortunately. Has happened a couple of times with Will, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. It's bad. But the important thing is you can keep track of his hands the whole time. There's no funny business going on. Interesting. So he hasn't swung leader. I think he probably should have swung lead first. Probably go Queen. If he's going to swing the Queen, swing Luffy. Maybe he didn't have another 5 cost play and needed to bring it up. So here comes a 5k swing to lead. 6 in hand. Are we going to see... Probably take it, right? Yeah. No Thunderbolt. Okay, that's good news for Will. Thunderbolt shines its hardest in this matchup, that's for sure. I cannot tell what that is. It may be another... I don't think it's another Paulie. Oh, it's a Sphinx. It's the Sphinx, I'm pretty sure. Has he got 1 open? Should have been at 10, right? Oh, no, that's a Kid. My apologies, guys. So, to me, this telegraphs that was one of his draws off of the Queen. There you go. So, it's back for now. We see a 6k swing. This will either be a block and a 1k or a 2k out. No worries. The Olin's already got targets. So, okay, 2k. I think the Olin's probably going to... Oh, the Linlin, sorry, is going to go into the Paulie. At life, I think you'd just happily take it. And now, what have we got? So, 8 Don, putting probably the Eustace Kid to the top or bottom. Now, bottom actually works better, so we can't use ability. Yeah, I think that's fine. The Enel player doing... I want to quickly mention this. The Enel player doing a very good job playing around the 9-cost Kaido. I feel it can't be far away. But this could also be very, very dangerous for Enel here. Enel is at a grand total of 1 life. And Purple Luffy is unresting everything. 10 Don. Yes, he's got the cards in hand. 7 to be exact. So we'll see that start to shrink a little bit now. There's a 2k. Let's see what he does. I feel if you went the 10k and rushed 11 into Linlin, that's probably fine. You're getting 2Ks out, or you're getting rid of a Linlin. And there it is. He knows he probably didn't have enough time to not play it. If it's going to make an impact on the game, it's going to make that impact now. So down comes the Kaido. The question is, where's the Kaido going to go? Does he prioritize the Linlin, or does he prioritize life with only 6 cards in hand? It looks like the Linlin. He's kind of thumbing towards... Sam's kind of thumbing towards 2 cards, so it looks like we could see a 2 and a 1, or a 2 and a 2. Can Enel Yamato a queen? No. So, at the moment, the Luffy's at 3, and the Enel player's at 1. So, the answer to that would be no. 2Ks out, and we're just going to see a passing of the turn. No point giving them a cycle, and possibly set up for next turn. I don't think that the Enel player... Well, the Enel player, I don't think you can't win here. And I also don't think it can take out the Kaido because of these queens. If you over-invest anything... And only 3 in hand from Purple Luffy makes it tough too. But if you invest 12 or higher, I think they can combo... Oh, sorry, just block it out. So here comes the 6 at life. It looks like they're going to take it. No triggers. Do they just take it down to 1 or 0? It feels like they're going to try and go for game next turn. But a Yamato might just absolutely wreck that plan. There's the Yamato. Nothing to KO, but gets the life. Purple Luffy player will be at 7 Don now. Did and chose not to swing. Okay. I can get behind it. I think you certainly go 5 with the Luffy first, test the water, and drop another potential blocker. But let's see how this turn goes. That Enel, sorry, not the Enel, the Yamato really stabilizing Sam's board here, giving him another breath of fresh air. It looked a bit concerning when he wasn't able to go past 1 life last turn. And the Kaido ultimately not able to knock him down. And you can see that's what Will is thinking about right now. How can I get myself back into this game? I'm only at 2 life. I know what one of them is, and it's not going to be great in the late game. So that leaves 6 open from memory. Looks like 6. Okay. So we're going to go 6 into lead, force a 2k out of hand. No, just going to take. That's also okay. There's the 10 into lead. Force the cycle. Do we have a trigger? We do not. Probably discard a... Well, it wouldn't be a Thunderbolt. Oh, okay, so he had an Olin in hand that was just dead to him. Do we see the Queen start to crack in now? Like, surely not. They'll just get cleaned up easily on the crackback. And he's just going to pass the turn there. This could be a lead up to another Kaido turn. But let's see how he plays this out. Enel, 6 cards in hand. Yeah, I know the stream's a bit wonky. It goes through phases, but we can make out what's happening for the most part. Let's have a look. There's a 2k. You're probably taking the next hit. You're only at 3 though. That's a huge concern. But we could see some like 7, 7, 7, 7. Because you could go to 9 depending on if he uses a Blast Breath. Or 8 if he does use it. But then he could still go 7, 7, 7. Even some 8s in there as well. I still think if he can't regenerate the life this turn, I think that the Purple Luffy player is going to go for game. But the way that we're seeing these attacks, it leads me to believe there's either an 8 or a 9 cost in the hand of Sam to help close out this game, to offer the defense needed. Now, he's still not out of the woodworks yet. We see an 8k swing. This is where the Blast Breath has to come in. This is your perfect time. You cannot take this. And this is exactly what we're going to see. So the Blast Breath will come down. I know it's hard to see on this internet, But there we go. So Blast Breath, all done. Okay, I might just be explaining to the judge or something what's happening there. So, yep, that was fine. So he'll be at 8 Don next turn. You have to swing the Yamato. Like, I think he takes. You have to take it. Ramping the additional Don with leader ability isn't going to do anything here. So, yep, take it. And I think now he's kind of settled in the fact that he's going to go for game next turn. But an Enel's going to come to this party and just... Oh, no. Or pudding, sorry. So it's either pudding 8 cost or 9 cost. But no, can't be 9 cost Yamato anymore. Has to be a Katakuri. Slam the 8 cost. Put the pudding back. And there it is. So is he going to put back the pudding? Let's have a look. 5 cards in hand. And yep, pudding will go to life. We know he's got 1 2k counter in there. And possibly some more dead cards. He needs to connect, what's that, 4 times. And he's got 5 big attackers. 5 3 6s and a 10. 8 Don. Can't use leader ability. There is an option where he could clear board, but I'm not a fan of that. I think and he's put it to bottom. Okay, he's hoping for that trigger off the top. I think you probably poke with 7 on lead first and see what happens. No, it's fine. Like, I watched one of his games earlier. Sometimes internet in Australia just goes through bad patches. It's perfectly fine. The big issue is just not being able to identify what cards are, and most of the time I can identify them, no worries. So... 2 cards. Okay, so there's a 2 and a 1. 6 Don remaining. He can go 3 8s. So every attack here now has to connect. Every attack. And I think that's what he's kind of weighing up. He's like, well, hang on a second. Now do I start clearing the board? But even clearing the board, I think, is too difficult. He's got too many attacks. You don't have enough... You do technically have enough blockers, but a Thunderbolt a couple of cards away just ruins it for you. He could go 8, and we knew about the Strucid. I think his best line of attack here is probably just to go maybe 7. He could do a 7, 8, 9, I guess. With 3 cards in hand, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be going 7 with one of my kids into lead. Then an 8k with the Queen. Then a 9k with the Queen. And then a 10 cost. And hope you fade the 2 triggers. I've been commentating his other games earlier. And yeah, there's been no dramas. There's just been a small patch here. So let's see if he goes for the 7, 8, 9. There's no card he could really play to take advantage of Eustace Kid's ability here to get the 1 Don. Seven, 8, 9 has to do it, man. I don't think you have another play. If he's got another 5... And we know he's got the kid in hand. I should specify that. We know he's got the kid in hand. So I think if he goes 7 and he combos out of that, he can send the Kaido into probably the Yamato. Or the... Katakuri or the Lin Lin. Probably the Katakuri. Play the blocker. Oh, but then 1 attack will still get through. Okay, so takes it. Has to go 8k. So 2 Don onto Queen. 2 Don onto Queen. And you go 9. Yep, so now we have the 8. Does he have it? He could bait him into that false sense of security. But he could also be fading a trigger. So he takes it. Get another one. Drop it down. Yep, there's the Amaru. Go 9. 9 on the Queen. And he's got it. There we go. So, didn't matter. He had it. That should be well and truly game over now. He's cleared the way for the blockers. And Enel just able to find all the cards he needs to be able to survive this one. Purple Luffy. the Enel player played it really well. Maybe there was a situation where you shouldn't have gone for the what do you call it? Against when he had the Perospero out, maybe you should have waited for that for the Kaido. So there's that way it got some value, and you have an attack. And yeah, that'll do it, guys. We have our final winner. Congratulations. Nah, I don't think Purple fumbled anything here. I think he played it relatively well. There's an argument that he could have kept the blockers back, maybe played another blocker out and try and survive. But the trouble is the Enel player just kept on seeing all of the right cards at the right time. Like his curve was just absolutely bonkers to go, what was it, like 7, 8, 9, 8? It's really hard for any deck to beat that, particularly with the life regeneration. They're able to just keep regenerating that life way too easily. And Purple Luffy, anything above a 6 cost is just too hard to remove for them. The Kaido just wasn't as efficient. So it definitely wasn't a Purple fumble, depending on what his hand was when he had the potential Kaido play. But I think he played as well as he could have. And he forced the Enel player to have it. And I think, if you look at his... No, that's what he comboed out there. So I think he only just had it anyway. But yeah, Top Cut, I'll have another video for that coming out in probably a couple of days once I'm able to get access to the deck list and have a decent look at it. But in Top Cut, so obviously we had the Purple Luffy go down here. There were 2 Sakas that were... So there were 2 other Sakazukis undefeated going into last round. And they both lost theirs against Enel and Purple Luffy respectively. So they would... Unless they've lost the other one, they're probably still top 8. But yeah, that's where we kind of sit for it. Anyway, guys, my voice is getting close to cooked. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a joyride, and I'll see you with my podcast episode covering the breakdown of results on this. Have a good one, guys.